For more on today's historic Supreme Court decision, I'm joined now by Attorney General for the state of California, Xavier Becerra, who brought the suit against the Trump administration on behalf of DACA recipients. First of all, congratulations on a big victory for you and the folks in your office and that very, very gifted oral advocate that you had that argued the case before the Supreme Court. Were you surprised today?
Chris, I've always been optimistic. Maybe it's because I'm the son of immigrants and it runs in my DNA, but we always felt we were behind the right cause. We won in every court, and why should we lose in the Supreme Court?
What's the meaning for this tangibly? I mean, I want to just take a second of, we're talking about this in the context of the country and good news. I mean, I have talked to so many people who on election night really saw in front of them a future of possible deportation, of the security that they had won being taken away, and then the worst seemed to come true when they announced the rescission. What's it mean for people?
Let's break that down. For the Dreamers, it means the world. Actually, it means that America is paying attention and cares about them. For Donald Trump, and in many respects for the rest of us, it means the rule of law still exists, and no one is above it, including the occupant in the White House. But really what it means for Donald Trump as president, more than anything else, is that this decision is an indictment of the way he does business. It's a clear sign that what he's doing is not the right way. It's not just this decision. You mentioned the previous Supreme Court decisions where Donald Trump is clearly having a bad day, a bad week, a bad 3 years before the Supreme Court. And so it's one of those cases where I think all of us can take a big sigh of relief, believing that maybe the rule of law still exists in this country, even with Donald Trump in the White House.
Just to step into the legal weeds for 1 second here. The finding here by the majority, Roberts writing for the majority, is about a violation of the Administrative Procedure Act, which is basically the process they used to come to this decision was so ridiculous, so arbitrary and capricious that it violated that law. There was a deeper argument being made that this was actually a constitutional violation. This was a fundamentally discriminatory project by the president. Sonia Sotomayor saying that clearly is the case, too, and there's no amount of dotting I's and crossing T's that would make this okay. Does it concern you, the idea of them going back and trying to dot the I's and cross the T's and go after Dreamers again?
So, look, first, we're going to take this victory because it's crucial for people. We get to talk about it, and we're happy that it's there. But for hundreds of thousands of people, this was the difference between life in America, and who knows what kind of future. And so let's remember that. Secondly, the decision turned on the issue of process, which, you know what, I'll take a victory whether it's on process or on substance. In this case, The court held, the 5 justices said, hey, you got to go through the process. You got to follow the rules.
You have to show reasons.
Yeah, because you're going to impact the lives of a whole bunch of folks who relied on your representations, federal government, to their detriment. And so if you're going to take away something that they went through the process and followed to the letter, then you have to explain how you're going to do it. They didn't do that. Now, there's some substantive arguments you can make, whether there was an equal protection violation and all the rest. But look, at the end of the day, we got the victory. Dreamers are here. And now we give Congress a chance to fix this permanently.
You're a Californian. You said you're son of immigrants. You're the Attorney General for the state of California. I think about California a lot in terms of the politics of California and how it's changed over the last 20 years. I mean, this was a state that had this kind of this sense of being ungovernable for a long time because of this sort of red-blue battle, conservatives and liberals in the state house. They can never get a budget every year. It was just this constant mess. And then basically what happened was the Democratic Party just whooped the Republicans and the state kind of became governable again. And I wonder if you think about California in the context of the American experience right now. Is there some way in which that's the only way out of this mess that we're in right now?
Chris, if you think about it, where we are, the country will be in probably a couple of decades. In the 1990s, I remember 1994, we had Proposition 187, which was as anti-immigrant an initiative as you can ask for. And it passed. And our Republican governor running for re-election rode the wave of that proposition to get reelected. He's the last established traditional Republican to win office Arnold Schwarzenegger clearly was not a traditional Republican. But other than that, Republicans have been on the downslide ever since. And so I think you saw a pivot in California, which I believe you're beginning to see in this country as well. The fact that people are supporting all those peaceful protesters seeking police reform, different day.
Yeah.
And so, Chris, I think what California is experiencing, the rest of the country will experience, and good thing, because we are now the 5th largest economy in the world, even though we're one of 50 states. Only 4 countries, including the U.S., do have more economic capacity than we do, and we are creating more jobs than anyone else. We have the best universities in the country. We graduate more people from university than any other state, and so why wouldn't other states want to follow what we're doing? All I got to do is tell you, though, you got to be progressive. This is 2020, not 1920.
Attorney General Xavier Becerra, again, congratulations on your victory in court. Thank you so much for your time.